Hello there guys and welcome to Saturday's live stream here for IFMC. I am JWF1 and we are here to kick things off with the qualifying session to determine the grid for tomorrow's Italian Grand Prix. If you didn't see what happened last weekend at the San Marino Grand Prix, it was possibly the best race of the season. In the end we saw Daniel Ricciardo winning that race from Sergio Perez in second and Kevin Magnussen, who finished in third, with Etihad finishing fifth and sixth, enough for them to win their third successive Constructors' Crown. Well, they made a bit of headlines today in terms of two series, of course, and a few others as well, which I won't announce until certain silly seasons open. But anyway, we'll get onto those in a little bit. Just a few notes, of course. No team, surprisingly, has made an upgrade for this weekend, so pretty much everybody's got the same power as what they had at San Marino last weekend. On top of that as well, Martini have a special livery for this weekend because it is the team's home race. They've kind of gone for, as my computer decides to go to sleep for temporarily there, they've decided to go with a similar theme that they had last season, that their car has the Italian flag on it. So basically all the colours commemorate the Italian flag, so green, white and red. And on top of that as well, Kimi Räikkönen has a qualifying ban for today because of causing a crash with Jean-Eric Vergne last weekend at San Marino, so he will not be taking part. Only 21 cars will be taking part instead. We've got bright and sunny conditions here at Monza, and hopefully it should be a very good qualifying session. I'll be very interested to see what the real pace was last weekend as well. We didn't quite get it because of the wet weather conditions, but we should be able to see this time around what that's going to consist of. So, anyway guys, without further ado then, as I've rambled on for a little bit, let's get to the qualifying session for the Italian Grand Prix. So, it should come out in a bit. Here we are then in the pit lane. Kimi's obviously watching in the sidelines, and we're going to go to the end of the pit lane with Kevin Magnussen, so we'll wait and get this session underway. 35-minute session, so you wait to see who's going to be the first to go out onto the track. Pascal Wehrlein, of course, back for this weekend as well after the team sat him out for the San Marino Grand Prix for causing multiple accidents in Hungary. He was initially meant to have a qualifying ban in San Marino, but the team decided to sit him out so they could avoid it and give him even further punishment for it. But he's back in the car this weekend, and in fact, we actually have one of the Martinis coming out now. Now, I haven't updated the cockpit yet, but luckily, because somebody's got a qualifying ban, I will be able to update this cockpit tomorrow. But the first one out on track is Max Verstappen with the special livery, and as mentioned, they're going for a similar theme that they had last season, in that they're going with the Italian colours, green, white and red. And they just go around the chicane now then, as he heads down the straight now then. So Verstappen out on track. Tell us what you think about the livery. And so Verstappen out on the track he goes. Also on the track we have Felipe Massa, Antonio Giovinazzi out there as well, with Daniel Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc, Nico Hülkenberg, Pascal Wehrlein's coming out, as is Valtteri Bottas, Kevin Magnussen, Stoffel Vandoorne, Brendan Hartley and Fernando Alonso. Those guys are going to be out on track in a little bit as Verstappen heads through the second Lesmo, as the team look to have a good home Grand Prix if they can. It was a pretty much what could have been for Martini last weekend. They were so close to getting a very emotional victory after everything that had happened to them during this season, of course, and Max Verstappen running away with it thanks to taking advantage of the wet weather qualifying session, but unfortunately mechanical problems put an end to that, and it gave victory to Daniel Ricciardo instead. It'll be very interesting to see though what Max can do as he rounds the final turn, heading down the straight now then, as Verstappen is about to start his lap now then, as he heads down the straight. He starts his lap now then, so heading down towards turn 1 on the track then goes Mad Max, as a few more cars also doing a lap with him. We're right on board with Max Verstappen as he approaches the first chicane on the track, coming off the turn. As he heads down here now, then heading in towards the right-hander, as Verstappen just getting the car around that section of corners now then before approaching the second chicane. Around the left and right-hander he will go. And they just come off the turn now then before approaching the two Lesmos. And around the turn he goes now then, coming off the turn, heading in towards the second Lesmo on the track. And as he comes down the straight now then, let's see what Max Verstappen can do now then, as he will now approach the Ascari chicane. Into Ascari he goes, as he rounds the turn now then, round the right and then the left. Max Verstappen, of course, will be setting the benchmark of time for everybody to beat as they all come up now towards the Parabolica. And let's see what Verstappen can do now. Then up towards Parabolica he goes. And let's see what Verstappen can manage. And he'll head down the pit straight. And across the line goes Verstappen. And let's see what he'll manage. And the time is going to be a 1 minute 18.013. Felipe Massa slots to second with that lap. Antonio Giovinazzi, what can he do? He goes third in his home race, of course. Daniel Ricciardo then goes fastest. So Ricciardo goes to the top of the timing sheets in the GRM. Here's Charles Leclerc in the shadow as he will now come up towards Parabolica. Around the turn we go as he will now head down the pit straight. Leclerc now then is going to cross the line. And Leclerc, what can the Monegasque driver do as he will now cross the line himself? And he goes fifth fastest for the moment. Nico Hulkenberg slots to third. Pascal Wehrlein in the AMP. What can he manage? He crosses the line to go sixth fastest for the moment. Valtteri Bottas crosses the line, seventh fastest for the Eldorado. It's P9 for Carlos Sainz. Stoffel Vandoorne manages to go to 10th. Brennan Hartley, P6 in the Monster. Kevin Magnussen goes P11 for the moment. Here is Fernando Alonso as he comes around the final turn. Around Parabolica he goes as he'll head down the pit straight. And let's see what Fernando Alonso can do now then on the track. He comes across the line, and what's Alonso going to manage? He crosses the line, and he goes fastest for the moment. So Alonso goes to the top, beats Ricciardo. So Alonso currently fastest at this stage. Verstappen returns to the pit. So at the moment, it is currently Alonso fastest, Ricciardo second, and Verstappen in third. That's how it looks at this stage. And as we have just over half an hour of the session remaining, as we look at Alonso, he'll be heading back into the pits this time by as we wait for another 13 cars to come out onto the track. Still 8 more runners to do laps, including championship leader Lewis Hamilton. And Etihad have been making some news today as well, because they confirmed their third test driver for next season, that being Joseph Newgarden. He'll be moving from Mars Grand Prix as a test driver to join Etihad Racing as a test driver next season. But he will still be part of Target Andy Graham Racing in IFMC IndyCar, except now it's going to be a loan deal instead of a fully fledged deal with Target Andy Graham Racing. So he'll still race there. And on top of that as well, the man reviewing, Fernando Alonso, has confirmed that he will be part of E-Power in IFMC IndyCar for the upcoming season. So not really surprising, but Alonso will still be with the Etihad program as he will be driving for E-Power in IFMC IndyCar for the upcoming IFMC IndyCar season. And he'll be partnered alongside Ryan Hunter-Reay, the driver he was partnered alongside during the failed Indy 500 race. So those two will be reunited. Going into the pit lane there then goes Fernando Alonso. As out on the track now then goes Romain Grosjean. As he's now come out onto the track. Also on track we have Jean-Eric Vergne as they now approach the chicane. He had a big accident last time out in Imola. Thankfully he was okay after the accident. But I'm guessing he was still a little bit miffed after what Kimi did to him at turn 2. On the final lap of the race, of course. As Grosjean now then rounds the right-hander. As he will now approach the second chicane. And Grosjean looking to try and see if he can try and do well for Bud Light Lime this weekend. And there's still a big battle for second place in the Constructors' Championship between EMR, Eldorado, Bud Light Lime and Suomi. So that's that really. And sometimes you get a feeling that maybe GRM and Martini could be outsiders in that as they try and snip the gap to those guys. So you could say they are pretty much outside hopes of second place in the Constructors, both GRM and Martini. But with a few races left, time probably running out for them to try and do so. So it's probably just going to be between those 4 teams I mentioned to get second. EMR, Eldorado, Bud Light Lime and Suomi. As Grosjean's about to start a lap, as we mentioned, his fellow compatriot Jean-Eric Vergne has also come out onto the track, as has Esteban Ocon. He's out there in the special liveried Martini. Sergio Perez out on track, as is Ed Jones. Lewis Hamilton, the championship leader, has just come out onto the track, as is Scott Dixon, Sebastian Vettel, Brendan Hartley, Antonio Giovinazzi, and there's a few more coming out. Charles Leclerc, Nico Hulkenberg, and we'll be expecting Felipe Massa as well to join these guys as well. Grosjean started the lap, he's just come out of the chicane, as has Jean-Eric Vergne behind him on the track, as in now around turn 4 on the track. And Grosjean will soon approach the second chicane as sparks continue to fly out the back of the car. Up towards the second chicane then we will go, around the left and right hander we go. Out of the turn, heading towards the 2 Lesmo corners. And around Lesmo 1, out of the turn, and then up towards Lesmo 2, which is his 90-degree right-hander. As they will now head down this second straight before approaching the Ascari chicane. So far, smooth lap for Grosjean, same with Vergne behind him. Up towards Ascari will go the Frenchman, as he now rounds the left, then the right, and then into the left again. As they now head down the straight before approaching Parabolica. And let's see what Grosjean can manage then this time by it up towards the final turn at Parabolica. And around the final turn and onto the pit straight we go. And Grosjean now then is about to finish his lap heading down the pit straight. And Romain Grosjean crosses the line. And what's the time going to be for him? He goes third fastest for the moment with a 1 minute 17.862. As Verne's come back in because he's lost the rear wing. So I don't know if he's made contact with someone on the track. It looks like Leclerc might have hit him as well. So both of them have wrecked their chances of a potential good lap there then. Hulkenberg does another lap. Here is Ocon. What can he manage in the Martini? He goes 6th fastest for the moment. Felipe Massa crosses the line, starts a lap. As we now look at Sergio Perez in the Eldorado, finished second last time at San Marino. He goes 6th fastest with that lap, so P6 for Checo. Here's Ed Jones in the Mars, only 17th fastest for the Emirates driver. Lewis Hamilton, here he is in the Etihad. Across the line he will go. Can he try and go to pole? And he does. Hamilton fastest for the moment, only by 10th out of Alonso, and then a further 100th in front of Daniel Ricciardo there. As Dixon goes 18th, Vettel goes 3rd at the moment, so Vettel gets himself into the top 3. So a good time for him there. 12th for Brendan Hartley. So that's that for him. Here's Antonio Giovinazzi just outside the top 10. Can he try and improve upon that P11? As he'll now head down the pit straight. Across the line goes Antonio Giovinazzi, and he doesn't improve. Remains 11th in front of his home fans here at Monza. As we look at Nico Hulkenberg, he's on a lap at the moment. He's currently 7th. His teammate's up in 3rd. So Vettel looking good for a top 3 qualifying place at the moment, but still there could be improvements as they come through the session. As Hulkenberg now then heads down the pit straight. Let's see what he can manage then. Hulkenberg is now going to cross the line, and what's the time going to be for Nico? And he doesn't improve, remains in 7th place with that lap. Felipe Massa in the monster car, can he try and improve upon 10th place? Across the line goes the Brazilian. Massa crosses the line, and he goes up to 5th with that lap. A brilliant time for Massa to get up into the top 5. So into 5th place goes Felipe Massa with that lap. So that's that for him really. As here's Hulkenberg now, who's down to 8th as a result of Massa going up to 5th. As Verne's come back out onto the track now with a new rear wing as he looks to try and get a lap in. And I wouldn't be surprised if Leclerc will come out in a little bit as well. But we'll wait and see on that as Verne will now approach the left-right chicane. Through the left and then the right goes Verne as he uses the curb on the outside. Up towards the 2 Lesmos we will go. Around Lesmo 1 and then up towards Lesmo 2 we will go. And he just comes off the turn heading down the straight as sparks come off the back of each of the cars. As they'll soon approach the Ascari chicane, Verne will be about to start his first flying lap. He was meant to do one earlier, but because of contact with Leclerc, it prevented him from doing that, of course. Coming out of Ascari, heading down the straight before approaching Parabolica. And let's see what Jev can do. As now he approaches the final corner at Parabolica. Around he goes as he heads down the straight. And Verne now then will cross the line. And what is the time as he now starts his lap? Meantime, Magnussen has started one as well, as has Bottas and Verstappen. In fact, a few cars have also come out onto the track. And so Magnussen is currently on the lap. He's hoping not to get held up a little bit by Valtteri Bottas. Magnussen down in 17th, so it's clearly these qualifying ways have come back to haunt him after a very good weekend at Imola, where he got his first ever IFMC podium. It's not looking like it's going to be the case now for K-Mag. It seems that it's back to reality for the Dane, with Yuri questioning whether he'll still be with the team next season. So pretty much Kevin's future with the team is a little bit in doubt. Whether Kimi will have a new teammate next season, it remains to be seen. And as we go down the straight now then towards the Ascari chicane, let's see what K-Mag can do now then, as he'll soon approach the Ascari chicane hill on the track, as he will round up the left-hander, round the left, then the right, and then he'll go through the left again, heading down this straight before approaching Parabolica, as the 2 cars in front, Bottas and Verstappen, are about to start laps. Up towards Parabolica then we go, and let's see what K-Mag can manage then. Around the final turn, and he'll soon go onto the pit straight, and Magnussen now then is going to cross the line. Let's see what Kevin Magnussen can manage then on this lap then. Across the line we go. and he remains 17th. No improvement for him. Verne goes to 7th with that lap. A good time from Jev to get himself up into P7 with that lap time. So now we look at Leclerc's on lap. So yes, Leclerc did come back out after damaging his front wing after contact with Verne. And now up towards the second Lesmo we will go. Coming off the turn, as they'll soon head down the straight before approaching the Ascari chicane. And let's see what Leclerc can manage then this time by. Up towards Ascari he'll go. On the left, then the right, and then through the left again. As he'll head down the straight before approaching Parabolica. As Ricciardo in front of him, I believe that is about to start a lap. Around the final corner and onto the pit straight will go the Monegasque driver, the man who will drive for Eldorado next season on a loan deal from Etihad as a result of Perez moving to Bud Light Lime next season. Here comes Leclerc now then, as he will now cross the line. And what's the time going to be? He doesn't improve and remains 16th fastest for the moment. Fernando Alonso, let's see what the Spaniard can do. Can he improve and get back to pole? No, he can't. He remains second with that lap. His fellow compatriot remains 17th. No improvement for him. Max Verstappen in the Martini. Can he improve? And he doesn't. He remains 8th with that lap. So clearly Martini not really suited to this track, it must be said at the moment. Bottas goes up to 11th, so just outside the top 10. So an improvement for Bottas on that lap. As Grosjean's about to start one. Here is Stoffel Van Dorn in the AMP. As he will now approach Parabolica. Let's see what the Belgian can do. Around the final turn and onto the pit straight we will go. And Van Dorn now then is going to cross the line. And let's see what the Belgian can manage then. Can he improve upon 19th place? Van Dorn across the line. And he goes up to 16th. So an improvement, but still outside the top 10. For Stoffel Van Dorn. His teammate Verline, and clearly AMP struggling around this track as he goes around Parabolica. On his return, of course, it looks like he might have been held up by Jones, in fact, because it looks like he's just overtaken him. So, Verline now then, across the line he will go. Can he improve either way? No, he can't. He remains 15th on the same row as his teammate. Still 21st for Jones. Still 10th for Perez. As looks like Dixon went back into the pits there. As we now look at Grosjean, he's on a lap in the Bud Light line as he comes out of the second Lesmo. And that's that really. And up towards the Ascari chicane then we go. And let's see if Grosjean can improve. Grosjean's currently 6th, looking to try and get himself into the top 4 if he can. As he now comes up towards the Parabolica. Let's see what Romain Grosjean can do now then. Around the final turn and onto the pit straight goes Romain Grosjean. As he will now cross the line. Down the pit straight he goes. Grosjean across the line goes the Frenchman. And he does not improve. Remains 6th with that lap there then. And so that's that for him really. So we now look at Scott Dixon in the Mars Grand Prix car. As he'll soon start to lap in a little bit. As he will now round the Sky chicane. Ocon's come back out. Grosjean's going back in. Lewis Hamilton, the current pole sitter, will be coming out on the track as well. So should be quite interested to see if he could try and improve on his pole time at this stage. Up towards the final turn then goes Scott Dixon, as he'll soon go down the pit straight. And across the line goes the Kiwi then. Well, he goes down the pit straight to start his lap. Heading down the pit straight, Dixon now then starts his lap. As he'll soon head up towards the first chicane on the track now then. So up towards turns 1 and 2 we go on the track, then around the right, then the left, coming off the turn, using all the curb on the outside. As he'll soon approach this right-hander now then through turn 4. And Dixon now then approaching the second chicane. And let's see what he can do now then as he rounds the left and right-hander coming off the turn. As he'll soon approach the 2 Lesmos now then. Round Lesmo 1. Out of the turn and then up towards Lesmo 2 he will go. And he just uses all the curb on the outside, heading down this straight before approaching the Ascari chicane. Up towards Ascari now then will go the Kiwi, as he looks to try and get in front of Jones if he can. He doesn't want to be out-qualified by him again. So far he is doing that at the moment, as he's currently up on his personal best in the middle sector. He's currently ahead of him at the moment. Jones currently 21st at the moment in this session. Raikkonen going to be 22nd, of course, because of the qualifying ban for causing a crash with Verne at Imola last weekend. Up towards Parabolica we go. As Dixon now then will head down the pit straight. And across the line goes the Kiwi. And let's see what he can manage. And across the line goes Dixon. And he improves, but remains in 20th. He improves by 0.2 of a second there with that lap. Vettel about to start a lap as he looks to try and split the two Etiads at the front of the field. As Hulkenberg's about to start one. Here's Esteban Ocon currently down in 12th for the moment. As Ocon now then will round the final corner and onto the pit straight he will go. Ocon now then down the pit straight, across the line goes the Frenchman. And let's see what the time's going to be then for Ocon. And he doesn't improve, remains 12th. Just not able to improve at this stage. His teammate now then goes out on the track. Leclerc starts the lap, as does Magnussen. As will Sainz. If we look at Hamilton, he's 200 down on his personal best in the middle sector. So far doesn't look to be improving on his pole position time at this stage. As he will now round the Parabolica. Excuse me. Up towards Parabolica then goes Lewis Hamilton, the championship leader. Will now head down the pit straight. And Hamilton now then is going to cross the line. Let's see what Lewis can manage there. Across the line he will go. And he remains on a 1 minute 17.525. Doesn't improve on his pole position time at this stage. Here's Vettel now then, currently third. Can he try and split the two Etiads at the front of the field? Let's see now then. Vettel currently third in this session as he rounds Parabolica. As he'll now head down the pit straight now then. Let's see what Sebastian Vettel can do now then as he heads down the pit straight across the line. Goes the German. Is Vettel on an improvement? And he isn't. He remains third with that lap. Hartley starts the lap, as does Alonso, who's looking to try and snatch pole from Hamilton if he can. Here's Hulkenberg now then across the line, and he remains ninth through that lap, so still struggling around this track is Nico Hulkenberg. Here's Charles Leclerc coming off a Parabolica, as he'll now head down the pit straight, and across the line he will go. Leclerc, can he improve on 17th? No, he can't. Remains 17th for that lap. Still 19th for Kevin Magnussen. As now we look at Carlos Sainz Jr. As he heads down the pit straight. Sainz now then will cross the line. And can he improve? No, he can't. Remains 18th with that lap, still being outpaced by teammate Leclerc. Here's Giovinazzi, who's improving on his personal best in the middle sector. He's currently down in 13th. He's looking to improve if he can now then, as he'll soon approach the Parabolica. And let's see if Giovinazzi can improve now then. Round the final corner. And onto the pit straight will go the Italian. And Giovinazzi now then is going to cross the line. Let's see what he can manage then. Down the pit straight, across the line goes Antonio Giovinazzi. And he improves but remains in 13th place. Doesn't improve on position. As we now look at Brendan Hartley in the monster car. Can he improve on 14th place? Get up to teammate Massa. Cross the line. No, he can't. Remains 14th for the moment. Alonso crosses the line. Improves but remains in 2nd place. Massa improves but remains in 5th at this stage. And he improves by 17 thousandths of a second. Max Verstappen heading down the pit straight now then. Can Verstappen improve on P8 now then? The Dutchman will now cross the line. And he doesn't. He remains 8th with that lap there then. So no improvement there for Max Verstappen. As we now look at... let's have a look now then as Ricciardo comes out on the track. And Ricciardo currently 4th at the moment, looking to try and get himself up there if he can in the GRM. As somebody else is about to prepare for the lap. Yes, they are. Valtteri Bottas in the Eldorado. He's coming up towards the final turn at Parabolica. As he rounds that final turn, heading down the pit straight, as we have just under 14 minutes of this qualifying session to go to determine the grid for tomorrow's Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. This is the track where Bottas won last season, of course, where he got his and the team's first ever IFMC victory. But this season, of course, although they are still fighting for third, it seems that in terms of qualifying, the team really isn't up there at the moment. It seems that only in the race they're able to pull it off, and they need to make it count in the race, of course, because they're in that tense fight for second in the Constructors' Championship. They're currently tied with Bud Light Lime in the Constructors, but they are ahead of them because, of course, Eldorado do have that victory from Sergio Perez after the Martini disqualification compared to Bud Light Lime, who have none so far this season. So that's that really. Round the right hand there goes Bottas as he'll soon approach the second Lesmo. Coming off the turn, heading down the straight before approaching the Ascari chicane. And let's see then what Bottas can manage as he will go up towards Ascari. up towards Escari. He goes down in, round the left, then the right, and then into the left again, as he'll head down the straight before approaching the Parabolica. And let's see what Bottas can manage then. Up towards Parabolica goes Bottas, around the final turn and onto the pit straight we go. And he will now cross the line. Let's see what Valtteri Bottas can manage. And he remains 11th with that lap there then. So that's that for him. Ed Jones now then. We're around the final turn and onto the pit straight we go. As he now starts his lap. Bottas of course remained 11th as I just mentioned. Trying to find somebody else who's on a lap. That will be Daniel Ricciardo, who's currently 4th at the moment, looking to improve in the GRM. The man who won last time out at Imola, as he rounds the Scari chicane. Let's see what Danny Rick can do as he heads down the straight before approaching Parabolica, the final corner. Heading down this straight now then, up towards the final turn we will go. And Daniel Ricciardo now in sparks coming off the back of his car. Around the final turn and onto the pit straight goes Danny Rick, as he will now cross the line. And Ricciardo now then is going to cross the line himself. And let's see what he can manage. And he goes up to 3rd with that lap. So a good improvement for Ricciardo. He gets in front of Vettel. So Ricciardo up to 3rd with that lap. Perez about to start a lap himself. As now we look at Ed Jones in the Mars Grand Prix car, as he will soon approach the Scari chicane. Jones hoping he doesn't get held up by teammate Dixon in front. Round the Scari we go. Out of the turn, heading down the straight before approaching the Parabolica. And let's see what Jones can manage then, as he will soon approach that final turn. Around the final corner and onto the pit straight we will go. And Dixon now then about to start a lap. About to finish his lap. Sorry, it's Jones who's about to finish a lap. Dixon is about to start one, I should say. Jones across the line. And he doesn't improve, remains 21st with that lap. As still 16th for Van Dorn. Ocon starts the lap, still 15th for Verline. Vettel's about to start a lap, as is Magnussen. As we now look at Checo, who's currently 10th at the moment. I think I said he was up on his personal best. Now he's down on his personal best there in the middle sector. I do apologise, I only looked at it briefly there. As Perez now then will approach Parabolica on the track. And let's see what Checo can manage. Up towards the final turn he goes. And he'll soon come down the pit straight. And let's see what Perez can do now then. Down the straight we go, heading down the pit straight. And Perez now then will cross the line. And let's see what he can manage. He doesn't improve and remains 10th with that lap. He'll have one more flying lap to try and do better. But we'll wait and see if he'll be able to use that to his advantage. Verne now then across the line, remains 7th with that lap. Here's Hamilton then on a lap. Up towards the final turn will go Lewis. Around the final corner and onto the pit straight we will go. And let's see what Lewis Hamilton can do, as he'll soon head down the pit straight. And across the line goes Lewis Hamilton now then. And he improves by 7 thousandths of a second. Hamilton now on a 1:17.518. Hamilton slightly improves on his pole position time at this stage. As we now look at Esteban Ocon in the Martini. Let's see what he can manage. And he doesn't improve. Remains 12th with that lap. As Vettel crosses the line. Can he improve? He doesn't. He remains 4th with that lap. As Magnussen crosses the line himself. Remains 19th. And improves on his best time. And that's it for him. So another disappointing qualifying session for the Dane. Doesn't help when your future's in doubt at Suomi. That's pretty much that then, really, as far as he's concerned. Here's Hulkenberg now then, as he rounds the final turn. And onto the pit straight we will go. Let's see what Nico Hulkenberg can manage now then, as he'll soon cross the line to start a lap. In fact, I'm going to see if anybody else is on a lap before him now then. And doesn't appear like it, so we'll look at Nico now then. He's approaching the first chicane. Around the right and left hander we go. We're now at the 1:30 mark. We're half an hour away from race 1 of IFMC GP3. As now we go around turn 4 on the track. As he comes off the turn before approaching the second chicane. Up towards the second chicane will go the German as he rounds the left and right hander. Using the curb on the outside before approaching the 2 Lesmos. As he rounds that right-hander, using the curb on the outside, and now up towards the second Lesmo. Out of the turn, heading down the straight before approaching the Ascari chicane. And now up towards Ascari will go the German. And still got a little bit of a cold, guys, so sorry if you can hear some sniffling going on from me. As Hulkenberg now then rounds Ascari, heading down the straight before approaching Parabolica. And let's see what the German can do. Nico now then will approach the final turn. Around the final corner and onto the pit straight goes Nico Hulkenberg, as he'll soon cross the line. Let's see what the Hulk can manage. Across the line goes Nico. Is this going to be an improvement? And it is, but only by 1 place. He only goes up to 8th with that lap on his final flying lap. So Hulkenberg with a bit to do tomorrow in the race. So that's that for him, really. As Hulkenberg just goes out of the chicane, as Van Dorn just goes out on the track, as Sainz has just started one in the shadow. In fact, a few cars are out there now doing laps, probably the final flying laps, I would think, with just under 7 minutes to go in this qualifying session to determine the grid for tomorrow's Italian Grand Prix. Up towards turn 4 now then goes Sainz, as he'll soon approach now then the second chicane, the left and right hander. And up towards the left and right hander then goes the Spaniard, as he comes off the turn using the curb on the outside. And then up towards the 2 Lesmos he will go. Round the right hander, using the curb on the outside up towards the second Lesmo. And then he'll head down the straight before approaching Ascari. And let's see what Sainz can manage now then, as he'll soon go up towards Ascari. Heading down the straight now then up towards Ascari he'll go, as he flicks the car around the left and then through the right. And then into the left again. Down the straight he goes. And luckily for him, he's not going to get held up by that AMP in front of, I believe that's Stoffel Van Dorn. That's in front of him at the moment. Sainz now then up towards Parabolica he will go. And let's see what the Spaniard can manage there, as he'll soon head down the pit straight. And across the line goes Carlos Sainz Jr. Can he improve and get in front of teammate Leclerc? Sainz now then crosses the line. And he doesn't improve, remains in 18th, and that was his final flying lap done with. Hartley goes up to 10th on his final flying lap, so a big improvement for the Kiwi. Alonso doesn't improve, remains 2nd. Verstappen starts the lap. Antonio Giovinazzi, a disappointing 14th in front of his home fans, so a lot of work to do for the hometown favourite tomorrow, that's for sure. As we now look at Massa, who's currently 5th. Can he try and improve and get himself into the top 3 maybe, or in the top 4? Let's have a look. The Brazilian now then rounds the final turn and onto the pit straight he will go. And Massa now then is going to cross the line. Can he improve? And no, he can't. He remains 5th with that lap, and that was his final flying lap. Jones starts the lap himself, as Van Dorn's currently on a lap himself in the AMP, as he'll head down the straight before approaching Ascari. And the Belgian, let's see what he'll do on this lap now then. Up towards Ascari goes Van Dorn, as he rounds the left, then the right, and then into the left again. Heading down the straight before approaching Parabolica. And let's see what Stoffel can do now then. Up towards Parabolica we will go. And the Belgian now then, let's see what the time is going to be for him. Coming off the final turn and onto the pit straight. And let's see then what Van Dorn can manage then this time. By across the line he goes. And he doesn't improve, remains in 16th for that lap, so a disappointing qualifying session it seems for the AMP drivers. Here's Max Verstappen. Can he improve from 9th place? No, he can't, remains 9th, so not the best of qualifying session for Martini, since they look to have regained some pace from the beginning of the season legally now. But it seems this track probably not suited to their car, it seems. Bottas now then across the line he will go, and he remains 12th with that lap. As meantime, Ricciardo doesn't improve, remains 3rd, unable to split the 2 Etiads. Grosjean goes out on track, still 15th for Verline on his final flying lap, no improvement. Still 9th, or up to 9th goes Sergio Perez, so an improvement for him, he gains 1 place to go up to 9th. No improvement for Jones, he remains 21st with that lap in the Mars. As now we'll look at Grosjean now then in the Bud Light line. In fact, I'll have another check and see if anybody else is on a lap. It doesn't appear like it, so we will go to Grosjean. He will soon start his final flying lap with just under 4 minutes of the session remaining. Grosjean around the first Lesmo, coming off the turn before approaching the second Lesmo on the track. Out of the turn now then before heading down the straight towards Ascari. We ride on board with the Frenchman, as he'll soon approach the Ascari chicane on the track. Up towards Ascari now, then goes Grosjean as he flicks the car around the section of corners. As he comes off the turn, heading down the straight before approaching Parabolica. And let's see what Grosjean can manage then this time by. Up towards the final turn goes the Frenchman. And around he goes now then before heading down the pit straight. And Grosjean now then about to start a lap. Down the pit straight he goes. And Grosjean now then. Let's see what he can do then on this lap then, as he'll soon approach the first 2 turns on the track. Here's Vettel, who's about to come out to try to do his final flying lap. Looking to see if he can improve on 4th. Round the first chicane we go. As he'll soon head down the straight now then before approaching turn 4. And as now Grosjean will approach the second chicane on the track. And let's see what Grosjean can do around here. A very clean entrance and exit for the Frenchman as he looks to improve on 6th place. I think he is at the moment at this stage. Yes, he is in 6th, currently just behind Felipe Massa at the moment, who's in 5th. Round the second Lesmo goes the Frenchman as he'll head down the straight before approaching the Ascari chicane. And Grosjean now then, sparks coming off the back of the Frenchman's car now then. Up towards Ascari we go, round the left, then the right, and then into the left again as they'll head down the straight before approaching Parabolica. And let's see what Grosjean can manage then this time by now. Then up towards the final turn will go Romain Grosjean. And let's see what he can do as he rounds that final turn and onto the pit straight we go. And Grosjean now then is going to cross the line. And let's see what he can manage. And he doesn't improve, remains 6th with that lap. Vettel's about to start a lap himself, as Dixon will now round the second right-hander, the second Lesmo, heading down the straight before approaching the Ascari chicane. And now we will approach Ascari. Let's see what Dixon can manage as he'll soon round the left, right and left-hander. As you can see in the background, look, there is Jean-Eric Vergne and GRM. And up towards the final turn we will go. And Dixon about to finish his lap. Let's see what he can do. 52 seconds on the clock remaining. Dixon down the pit straight and across the line goes the Kiwi. And let's see what he can pull off with this. Down the straight, and he remains 20th. No improvement for him. Still 7th for Jean-Eric Vergne. As we look at Hamilton, can he improve on his pole time of 1 minute 17.518? Across the line goes Hamilton. And he does improve, in fact. Hamilton improves on his pole time with a 1 minute 17.468 on his final flying lap. Hamilton improves there then. Ocon doesn't improve, remains 13th with that lap. And that's going to be that for him. Here's Sebastian Vettel, currently 4th for the moment. Can he find some improvement in the car now then to try and get back into the top 3? Vettel down the pit straight and across the line he will go. And he doesn't improve, remains 4th with that lap there then. So that's that for him, and I believe that's going to do it because nobody else is going to go out. The checkered flag is out, meaning it's the end of the session, but everybody passed the finish line, finished their laps before the checkered flag was waved. So we have to wait for Vettel to go back into the pits. But as a result, I believe Lewis Hamilton has taken pole position for tomorrow's Italian Grand Prix, with Alonso in 2nd, so Etihad locking out the front row for tomorrow, with Ricciardo 3rd and Vettel in 4th position. And then rounding out the top 5 will be Felipe Massa. So very interesting qualifying session there then, as it seems that there's a little bit of the gap has got a little bit closer between the Etihads, but obviously too late now as Etihad have already won the Constructors' Championship, and it looks like one of their drivers is going to win the Drivers' Championship. At the moment it looks to be in favour of Hamilton, but we were like this at one point during the season last season, and Alonso managed to turn it around, so it can still be possible in these 5 remaining races. We have Italy this weekend, then we're off to a new track. Of the 3 of the last 4 races are new tracks, of course. The next race will be the Korean Grand Prix at Yeongnam, then the Japanese Grand Prix at Fuji. Then we're obviously off to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at the Yas Marina, and then the final race being the Pacific Grand Prix in Adelaide. So you can see there, qualifying is over, and as a result, Lewis Hamilton has taken pole position for tomorrow's Italian Grand Prix. And very interesting stuff indeed. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here is the grid for tomorrow's Italian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton on pole with Fernando Alonso second, Daniel Ricciardo third, with Sebastian Vettel fourth, Felipe Massa fifth, Romain Grosjean sixth, Jean-Eric Vergne seventh, Nico Hülkenberg eighth, Sergio Perez ninth, Max Verstappen 10th, with Brendan Hartley 11th, Valtteri Bottas 12th, Esteban Ocon 13th, Antonio Giovinazzi in 14th. And if we scroll down the rest of the field, it is Pascal Wehrlein 15th, Stoffel Vandoorne in 16th, Charles Leclerc in 17th, followed by Carlos Sainz Jr. 18th, Kevin Magnussen 19th, Scott Dixon 20th, Ed Jones in 21st, and due to his qualifying ban, Kimi Räikkönen is 22nd and last. So there you have it then, guys. That is the grid for tomorrow's Italian Grand Prix. It's looking to be a very interesting race, and hopefully we will be looking to be hopefully a very interesting race. Hopefully you'll join us tomorrow for that. But that has been it for the top class qualifying session. I hope you enjoyed it. But stick around now, guys, because coming up next is race 1 of IFMC GP3. Yes, it will be GP3 first because of the French Grand Prix qualifying session. GP2 will be taking place later on tonight at 6 PM. So do look out for that due to the French Grand Prix qualifying, of course. So if you want to go and grab a quick drink, then you can. But until then, I've been JWF1, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit.